Good morning, children. This is the fourth video lesson on My Mother at 66 for class 12 students. The first two videos deal with the detailed analysis of the poem. The third video lesson on the poetic devices used in it. Now we are going to talk about some of the important questions from the poem My Mother at 66. This video is also divided into two sessions. The first session deal with the factual questions, and the second session we can deal with the inferential questions from the poem. Let us go for the questions. Look at the highlighted portion of the poem. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, I saw my mother beside me, doors open-mouthed, her face ashen like that of a corpse, and realized with pain. Now let us check some factual questions from this part of the poem. The very first question is, who is the speaker of the poem? The poem is written in the first person narrative, so the speaker of this poem is the poetess herself. Look at the second question. Where was the poet driving to? The poet was driving to Cochin International Airport. Who was accompanying her? Her mother was accompanying. Third question, what did the poet notice about her? She noticed that her mother was sleeping with open mouth. Fourth question, why was her mother's face looked like that of a corpse? Because her mother's face looked pale, faded, lifeless, something like that of a dead body. Now move on to the fifth question. Find words from the poem which mean sleep lightly. And the second one, dead body. And third one, felt. Sleep lightly here means nap. And the dead body, corpse. And felt, realized. She realized with the pain, that is felt. Look at the next section of the poem. Realized with the pain that she was as old as she looked, but soon put that thought away and looked out at young trees sprinting, the merry children spilling out of their homes, but after the airport security check, standing a few yards away. Now look at the questions from this session. First question, what did the poet realize? The poet realized that her mother was as old as she looked. She had grown old. How did she feel it? She felt pain. Second question, what did she do then? The poet withdrew her thoughts from her mother and looked outside. Third question, what did she notice in the world outside? The young trees growing outside went past as they were sprinting. Happy children were coming out of their homes. These two things she noticed outside. Fourth question, find words from the poem which mean running fast. Second, happy. And third, moving out. Look at the first word, running fast, which means sprinting. Sprinting is the word used for running fast. Happy means merry. And moving out, which means spilling. Spilling out. Fifth question, how does the poetic device of contrast is used here? The poetic device of contrast is very brilliantly used here. The inactive life of the mother is contrasted with the active, energetic life of the young trees and merry children are brought out in the poem. That is a brilliant contrast. Look at the next segment. Away, I looked again at her wan, pale as a late winter's moon, and felt that old familiar ache, my childhood's fear. But all I said was, see you soon, Amma. All I did was smile and smile and look at the next set of factual questions. First one. What did the poet do after the security check? The answer is the poet stood a few yards away and looked again at her mother's face. Second question. Why did the poet compare her mother's face to a late winter's moon? The answer is the late winter moon lost its brightness and strength. The mother also here, with her pale and discolored face, resembles the late winter moon. Third question, what is her childhood fear? Answer is, the child is in the fear of being separated from its parents. The poet also, when she was a child, felt the same fear of separation. That is the childhood fear. Let us move on to the fourth question. What is her familiar ache? Answer is, the fear of being separated from her mother is the familiar ache. Here, the aging mother and her approaching death recreates the same pain in the poet's mind. Now let us move on to the next question, fifth question. What were her parting words? Parting words were, see you soon, Amma. It is a kind of assurance she gave to her mother. It is in stark contrast with the pain she felt. Let us move on to the next question. What did the smile signify? Her smile is a deliberate attempt to hide what is going on inside her mind. She really felt the pain, the fear of her childhood. But in the brave front, she put on a mask of assurance and a smile. In this session, we are going to discuss some of the prominent inferential questions from the poem My Mother at 66. Let us move on to the question part. The very first question is, what is the poet's familiar ache and why does it come back? The answer is, the poet's familiar ache is the fear of separation from her mother. When she has noticed the wrinkled and faded face of her mother, it resembles like that of a corpse. So the familiar pain of losing her mother comes back to her. This is the familiar ache the poet felt. The question is, why is the poet's mother compared with the late winter's moon? The answer is, the poet's mother has been compared with the hazy and weak winter moon to bring out the grim reality of last phase of their life. Like the moon, she has lost her vigor and energy. The poet thinks that her mother has been advancing quickly towards her mortal age. That was the reason why she compares her mother's face with the late winter's moon. Let's move on to the next question. Next question, third question. Why does the poet put on a continuous smile at the parting time? The answer is, the poet has already experienced her old fear of losing her mother. She fears the ultimate fate. Ultimate fate here means death of human beings. But she has to put on a brave front. She assures her mother with the soothing words that see soon and puts on the smile on her face. She tries to hide her fear and pain through continuous smile. Fourth question, what was the poet's childhood fear? The child is always in fear of being separated from its parents. The poet was also in the fear of losing her mother or her company. That was her childhood fear. Let us move on to the next question. Why has the poets brought in the image of the merry children spilling out of their homes? The merry children spilling out of their homes. A brilliant contrastive picture is brought out in the image of the merry children spilling out of their homes. The children present the image of happiness and celebration of life. The image is in stark contrast to the dozing and inactive mother. She is an image of old age and a deactivated life. The contrast of the two images works like a good scaffolding for the architect of the poem. This is the last question we are going to discuss from this poem. Why are the entries described as printing? Look at the answer. While traveling in a speedy vehicle, it is natural that the wayside trees seem to be running past them. The poet here brings out a contrast between the sleeping and the sedentary mother. The sleeping and the sedentary mother with the running and youthful trees. That is the significance of this image. This is the last part of our video lesson on My Mother at 66. Just before the CBSE examination starts, we can discuss the important questions from each chapter. Let us stop the video series of first lesson, first poem here. Thank you all. Watch and subscribe.